Hello and welcome to the second episode of Autobiography, the podcast where I talk about biography, just sort of my side of biography. Hopefully people will comment and give me advice, as well as me obviously putting out my approach to things. Maybe one day I might even interview somebody. Who knows? See how far this gets, if it actually gets anywhere. But yeah, this particular episode, shall we say, is just about how I choose pictures, why I choose them, why I might not choose a particular picture. So yeah, let's just dive straight in, I guess. The first picture here is from Alex McLean. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I've pronounced it wrong. I probably will pronounce all these names wrong, but I'll give it a go. So yeah, the first picture here is from Alex. I'll put the link to all the photographers below, just so you guys can look for all their pictures. This is just the ones that I've chosen to show why I've chose these particular ones. Definitely worth a look if you're into like safaris and animals and stuff, nature, because yeah, these some incredible photographers. Very, very honoured to be able to use their pictures because they are amazing. But yeah, if you like my work and the few pictures I'm going to show here, definitely have a look. Link below. Yeah, let's dive in. So this particular picture obviously is the first lion I ever did, first lion I ever kept, because I've used quite a few different photographers and pictures, but this, for some reason, one day I just went, you know what, I'm going to try and do a lion again, and if it goes wrong, I'm going to delete all the pictures of the lions and lionesses and just sort of step away for a bit. I started with the lioness and then went on to the lion, but the reason I chose this particular picture to show is because I can zoom in, that's great, is the mane. I always struggled with the mane. For some reason I always started with it, which I think is the first hurdle I tripped at. You really want to start with the face, or at least with me, because it sort of builds my confidence if I can have like part of the picture there, whether that's just sort of the eye and building up from the eye. But also the mane isn't really like a background piece as such. So like like a bit that is in the background and then you put the face on the top. It's like if you cut the 3D head into sheets and turn them into like 2 dimensions, you'd start with the nose, wouldn't you? So that's obviously where I start burning, and you just work your way back. But I think the reason I failed in the past is because I think I've overcomplicated burning it. So I've used a thin nib and tried to do each and every like strand of fur. Whereas with this piece, or at least this attempt, I've used almost like a smoothing nib, created like a fur directional guidance, shall we say, created like tone and depth, and then sort of gone over it with a finer one to define those finer lines. Obviously with this piece it's got a nice eye. I love my eyes. They just seem, I don't know how I do the eyes. I would love to do a video on how I do them. I don't know how interesting that would be, because as it happens I have recorded a video before this of explaining why I chose a particular image, and it was 40 minutes of me just essentially describing how I did the piece, hence why I'm now re-recording it. But I am rambling on a bit. So yeah, the reason I chose to do this particular image is just because it was the simplest sort of line picture I had of sort of, obviously I only did half and half. It's actually in the background there. Forgot about that. Just the way the sort of fur and the mane, or the head and the mane sort of joined together, was quite as simple as I could find it. So obviously it being the first sort of successful line attempt, didn't want to go too complicated. As you can see here, I'm hoping I have on screen the cursor showing you what I mean. Otherwise this is going to be a weird video. Yeah, you can see where the mane joins. If I actually grab the piece, it might actually be a bit easier to describe. Nope. Obviously, for a first attempt, I'm pretty happy with it. Looking at this image now and zooming in and out, I can see where I might have tripped up had I not like sort of taken the time to analyse the picture. Obviously, it being like lots of black lines in the really like lighter bits. But the main tip, shall I say, for this particular type of image, this particular type of image where it's sort of like a mane or and then you've got like lots of long fur and then short fur, is just break the image down. I broke it down for the tip of the nose, and then where to go from there was sort of the almost like cheek that joins between the nose and then goes down and round, and then actually I used the cursor there, and then obviously I went down and you got the lip, which was actually quite helpful to sort of have that split off. Having done the line after the lioness, I was able to do the lip a bit better. And then actually, I started with the eye, and I should have really started with the nose. But it's, I won't go into it all. But it's just breaking it down into the sections and then just sort of merging them together, really. Just being careful, because I advise, if you're able to do bits here and there and then join them together, grand. I tend to struggle with that because I might do it lighter in one corner and darker in the other, and then they don't come together very well, and I have to then sort of re-go over one or the other to sort of merge them together and make it look as natural as possible. So that's the lion. The cheetah. The infamous cheetah that amazingly was the easiest and one of the hardest. It's like with the jaguars that I do, or have done in the past. It's one of those pieces where you can be doing it, burning it, and it looks absolutely rubbish. Like the eye, what tends to happen with the eyes as well, actually, is you're burning it and you can be there for 2-3 hours and just sort of burning, and then you lean back and you're like, oh, this is a bit naff, it's not really detailed, and it's like lacking sort of realism, shall we say. And then you get up, walk, I don't know, a metre or two, metre and a half, and then you turn around and look at it and you're like, oh, the detail sort of just appears. It's almost as if your vision's blurred because you're so close to it, but obviously it's not. But I don't know, there's a weird effect. But the reason I chose this image from Craig Reed, once again, I'm really sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. He's actually one of the first photographers I ever actually got in contact with. And yeah, once again, absolute honour to work with Craig. I'll say work with him, use his images. Absolutely incredible images. Definitely worth having a look if you're into the safari and the Serengeti, that sort of thing. But yeah, the reason I chose this particular image is because there's a lot of blur. The edges are really blurred, so I was able to sort of modify that and sort of do it quite dark so that I didn't have to stress too much about trying to get blurred fine detail, because that's a real challenge. But as you may guess, it's the eye, the really big eye, giving me the chance to do a nice detailed eye, but also because the fur sort of just flows from the sort of eyelid, and it just I just love the way it just flows, and then it sort of flows around the cheek, and then once you've got past that sort of that line that separates the nose and the cheek, it just flows round the nose and down, and then you've got it flowing up and around just over the eyelid. And yeah, it's just the way the image flows that just sort of drew me into that picture. And the fact that it's not got sort of any edges, like with the, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like the whole head, it's just that section, and it just takes up the whole piece. And the bit of wood I had with the live edge, and it just looked grand. I don't want to blow smoke up my ass, but I chose a good bit of wood for the right image. That it's one of the best rewarding bits about photography, is choosing the right image for the right bit of wood, and it just works beautifully. And yeah, I think it sold at the first market I took it to, but then I think it was only my second market that I'd ever been to, which was like a local sort of town market it was mainly food and drink, so I was very surprised to sell anything there, really, to be honest. But yeah, on to the third and final image that I've chosen to sort of explain why I would choose that particular image, is Mary. I'm not going to pronounce her surname, I'm really sorry. Yeah, Mary. I'll put on screen I'll put on screen all the names, but this name in particular, because I really don't want to pronounce it, because it might be a really easy pronunciation, but I don't want to get it wrong. So I've used Mary's images quite a few times actually now. I did 2 half faces, and then family stroll, and the most recent one I did was beach fight. That's it. So I've used her images 4 times. I feel like there's more. Yeah. But yeah, I used Mary's image photography mainly for bears, just because I absolutely love her bear pictures. Once again, definitely, if you love bears, Mary's, or at least last time I've checked Mary's socials, there's a lot of bear pictures and they're incredible. Some of them I'm not ready to do yet because they're like either like wet fur, and that's a whole another matter of burning. But anyway, rambling on. So this image was sort of another leap of faith, actually, like with the lions, which I just was like, oh, I love the fact that there's a reflection of the bears on the water. I didn't want to do the bears in the background, just because I thought they were so blurry that it would sort of ruin the image. It would sort of distract, sort of take your eyes away from the main image. And I knew I wanted to do bears on the split birch, just the way the wood had like that nice split in it, made it look like water. So I definitely wanted to do like a bear walking along. But I thought, why do 1 bear when you can do 3? Well, 2.5 technically, if you want to count the one on the left. But yeah, I just thought, why not? Why not give it a go? The only catch is where I take like the screenshots on my phone, because at the time I just had a phone, so I didn't think to use the computer. Obviously, the image is a bit blurry. I should have really got in contact and asked for the original, but I don't really want to bother the photographers. I know I should, but obviously working with them, but they're quite busy. Some of them very, very busy. Yeah, I don't really want to bother the photographers. Some of them have offered to send the originals, and I'm like, oh no, it's fine. I can work off this one. It's fine. But yeah, with this particular image, I know the fur was a bit, like I could see it was a bit wet, and I thought, it's not too bad. And I wasn't going to stress about sort of the detail of the eyes, because you can see a little bit there. There's like eyelids and stuff. But I thought if I did it nice and simple, because it's 3 of them, we'll see where the image goes. And yeah, I was actually quite surprised by the amount of detail that was produced in the final result. I didn't think I was going to be able to get it as sort of defined, but yeah, I just sort of took my time about it, didn't rush it. I think this was one of the pieces where I was like, oh, this is going to take like 40-50 hours, and it was, I think, maybe 16 or 18 hours in the end. So yeah, but obviously at the moment I'm not able to just sit here for 6-7 hours at a time. I've got like work and bits and bobs to do, like normal life. I would love to sit here for 12 hours, 24 hours. But yeah, the main reason I might not choose this image is like the wet fur and the reflections I was a bit concerned about, but I just took that leap of faith with this image. Sometimes you just have to, don't you? And I don't know, it was like almost like a miracle. The lion, obviously I did the lioness first. I don't have the image like ready to show you, but I genuinely felt sick when I was burning it. For the first hour or so I was a bit worried, and then I felt genuinely sick with joy at how well the image was going. Yeah, photography is so rewarding if you just take the time just to practice, get up to like not become like professional, but have enough confidence in yourself that you're able to do it, or like enough reassurance that if it doesn't go well, it's fine, you've learnt from it. But yeah, quite a few of my pieces are just sort of give it a go, what's the worst that can happen. Which coincidentally actually was Stronger Together, was a screw it, let's give it a go piece, and I just went, why not give it a go? Had I done many eyes? I think that might have been like the second or third sort of piece where I sort of, once it was finished, was like, great, I've come quite far with this, from sort of solid nib on plywood to a decent image that I can genuinely be proud of. Not that obviously that my old pieces are terrible, but they're not sort of pieces you openly brag about, shall we say. There's quite a few prototype pieces, so yeah, there's not much else to it. You can't, if you don't give it a go, you can't say you've tried, can you? So there's no harm in trying. I mean, obviously, if you've bought a really expensive piece of wood, I wouldn't advise trialing a large image or even a very complex image. I'd practice on a smaller bit or a cheaper bit of wood. Not plywood, please. Please do not use plywood. So yeah, thanks for wasting your time watching me or listening to me. You might not be watching. It's fine. Background noise. Yeah. Cheers. Hope to see you. Hope to see you in the next one. And yeah. Cheers.